Hello, everyone. Let's take a look at question number 3 on the exam 1, part 2 review packet. So question number 3 says an RIT student went to a local tavern and asked to see bottles of each type of beer served there. And for each beer, he recorded the percentage of alcohol um, by volume. Okay, so we recorded all this data here. Then I ran the stats for you here. So you can see the mean, standard deviation, and all this other descriptive stats. Okay, so it says use the Minitab output to state the 5-number summary. So you have to know what the 5-number summary is. So remember the 5-number summary is going to be the minimum value and in this order. Then my quartile 1, which is 4.2. Then my quartile 2, which is the median, which is 4.7. Then quartile 3, which is 4.9, and the max, which is 5.5. So right there is my 5-number summary in that specific order. Things do not need to be labeled. So then he says also state the mean. So I'm just going to write the mean up here because I don't want to run out of room, which I'm probably going to. So my mean is also here at 4.344. So the reason why I'm asking for all this is because down here in part B, we're going to draw a box plot. So it says, what does the lower and upper fences tell us? And I want us to calculate those lower and upper fences. So the lower fence is going to be quartile 1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Remember IQR, I'm going to write it up here, is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So quartile 3 is 4.9. I'll just write it here. Minus 4.2, so 0.7 is my IQR. Okay, so that's just the width of that middle 50%. So when I plug into this right here for my lower fence, I have 4.2 minus 1.5 times 0.7, which is minus 1.05. So I have 315. And my upper fence is quartile 3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So that is, I think I said 4.2, but I wrote 4.7 maybe. It's 4.2, sorry. My upper fence quartile 3 is 4.9 plus that 1.05. So we have 5.93. Okay, so there's my upper and lower fences. My upper and lower fences are my cutoff values for my outliers. Anything below 3.15 is an outlier. Anything above 5.95 is also an outlier. Okay, so it says draw a box plot of this data. So I'm going to start with my quartiles. So quartile 1 is 4.2, right around here. Median is quartile 3, which is 4.7, maybe right around here. And then quartile 3, 4.9, right around there. And I'm going to box those in. And then I am going to add my mean. So a plus with a circle around it at 4.3. So this is 4.2, so 4.34, right around there. Okay. Then I have to add my fences. So my fences 5.95 all the way up here, almost to 6, and then 3.15 right around here. Maybe should be to the left a little bit more, but right around there. So I'm going to now also add my outliers. So it's any number, and I have my raw data here so I could see. So at 0, that's an outlier. At 2.3, that's also an outlier, right? Because that's below my fence. Also 2.9 is an outlier because it's below my fence. And then 3.7 is the next one that would be inside my fence because my fence starts at 3.15. So that's actually 3.7 is where my whisker on the left will go until. Okay, that 3.7. It's the smallest value that's inside the fence of my data set. Same thing on the top side, but I don't have any outliers because 5.95 is the cutoff. My top value is 5.5 right here, and that is where my whisker will end at that 5.5. So there is my box plot for this data set, including my mean and fences outliers. All right, so it says from the box plot, identify the center in the spread, provide numbers. What does the center represent? What does the spread represent? So for box plots, the center that we're using is the median. And the median here is my quartile 2, which is 4.7. Okay. Then for the spread, for a box plot, we use IQR. And IQR we already calculated up here at 0.7. So the median is the 50th percentile. So that means that 50% of the data values are less than 4.7. So 50% of the alcohol by volume, so I'll say ABV, is less than 4.7, and then 50% is higher. Okay. Now for the spread, this 0.7, I already said it, but this is the middle 50%. Okay, so this is the spread. So I'll just say 0.7 is the spread or the range. I'll just put range here of the middle 50%. So what that means is the middle 50% of my data, and we can see it visually here, fall between these two numbers. So half of the data, but the middle half falls between the 4.2 and the 4.9 right in here. Okay. So it says now describe the shape of the distribution of alcohol values. Explain how your box plot indicates the shape. So this one, I am definitely going to say skewed left. And the reason why I'm going to say skewed left is because the mean is less than the median. So that's how I can tell numerically. But visually, we can see here that I have more space in the box to the left of the median than I do to the right. Although my whiskers look fairly the same, and then I have some of these outliers that are indicating the skewed left. So it's just that whole combination. Okay, so skewed left. Then lastly here, so students also interested in studying the percentage of alcohol by volume from a brewery that sells craft beer. So the box plot is given below, and for a second location, okay, and it says compare the two box plots by answering the questions, which has a larger spread variability, so that's IQR, and which has a higher center typical value ABV, which is the median. So let me just write this down. This is IQR when I'm comparing, and this one is median for the center. So IQR for the spread, median for the center. And then are there any outliers? So this one's a little tough to read on camera. So right here, it looks like the median is right over 5, where the median here is at 4.7. So I'm going to say that the craft beer has a higher center or typical value, okay, since it is 5, where the other one is 4.7, okay. Now the spread, and it's sometimes tricky because I have this one on this big scale, this one's on this little scale, so we really have to look here. So we could look at the spread here on this one. It looks like it's starting maybe like 4.3 and ending somewhere higher than 5, maybe 5.3. So maybe the spread is 1, which it's tricky because visually this looks like a smaller spread than this one, but it's just the scale. So I would say that the craft beer has a larger spread that looks like it's around 1. okay, compared to the IQR of 0.7 for the other. And of course, yes, there's outliers for the first data set, okay, for the regular beer, not the craft beers. I'm going to say craft does not have outliers, just to add that. Okay.